Sign up to Bityard today, deposit $100 to qualify for the wallet token airdrop. Also take part in the USDT perpetual testing period for a chance to win a brand new iPhone 13. Take a look on my Telegram for further details. Hello everybody, welcome back. Here we are on the Wrecked City channel. I've got a lot to talk about, so you've got to stick with me. There's quite a few things to speak about on both upside and downside. So let's get started. So my buy order got filled last night once again 27,300. Seems like I'm buying Bitcoin every other day at this point. But my strategy is about to change as of today. So it's been this way for a while, but now I'm going. I'm doubling down on my strategy. So before we go into the details of all of this, I'm going to pose a hypothetical to you shortly. For me, I sold a lot into fiat around here. It's about a third of my Bitcoin, basically, give or take. Around average price would be about 53,000, and I sold into the British pound, right? And I say this all the time on my Patreon. I've mentioned it, I suppose over the last year or so, that if you ever do go into a large cash position, the best place is not a stable coin. It's a fiat pair. And stable coins are great for trading. Do you know what I mean? Because the fees are less, the liquidity is high, and sometimes you have no alternative. So it is good. It serves a great purpose for all of that. But for a large long-term cash position, not quite the same. And there's always been this looming threat of Tether. They do seem dodgy, don't they? And obviously after what's happened recently with the UST and obviously the Luna, and that's kicked crypto down the stairs massively. Confidence has basically completely dwindled and completely left, really, the market as a result of all of that. Wake up this morning and what do we see? We see the USDT value, for whatever reason, I don't know how it happened, drop by quite a significant amount. This is your daily, all the way down to that wick there. That's a 5%, almost 6% drop. That's pretty scary stuff, right? It's pretty scary stuff. One of my friends wanted to put all his money that he's got for his tax account. If you own your own business, we all have our own tax accounts. We give it to the tax man at the end of the year. It's pretty depressing stuff, because you look at that big cash in there and you go, wow, I could really use that. And you're getting pathetic interest on there with your bank. You do want to put it to work, and anyway, he wanted to put it all into Tether and stake it for 10%. I said, oh, and I tried to give him that. I said, look, it's good, it's fine, but there's always a risk that Tether goes to zero. It's a very small risk, but there is always that risk. Now that risk is becoming more and more apparent at the moment with this situation with UST. Now there are two different coins that work completely different ways, but Tether is renowned for being slightly dodgy anyway. But they might be too big to fail. But you could say that about Enron. You could say about anything, couldn't you? Really, too big to fail. The banks weren't too big to fail, were they? Nothing's really too big to fail. Anything can happen to them. And it would appear that regulation's about to creep in, probably barge in through the door now with crypto, with what happened with UST. So, anyway, a fiat position is always required if you're looking to sit on cash for a prolonged period of time. It's less stress. The fees are higher for buying and selling, but we're not trading here. You're basically sitting in a cash position. So we're looking at FUD now, aren't we? We're looking at a black swan. And we've been saying for a little while that there's black swans. Here they are. These are white swans, but black swans have been circling the chart. They could come in any form. They could come in Russia. They could come in China. They could come in monetary policy. They could come in the form of something else, which in this instance was a crypto-related UST horrendous incident, right? Millions, billions wiped off the face of the earth, never to return again, probably, for many people. Just gone, evaporated, and that has left the market with the least amount of confidence that I've seen in a long time, right? Because that is crypto-related. This was the market-related dump to do with the coronavirus. That was felt across the board. This was a bubble pop caused by an overinflated Bitcoin, and that was a different situation. This is a downtrend that was caused mostly by Federal Reserve monetary policy, Omicron as well, which is why I sold, because I felt like history was repeating itself. That's why I sold, not so much about the chart, but that's why I sold. And now all these other things. So constant inflation going up, although I believe it's likely to see a peak next month, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, lots of things, all those black swans circling, and now they're descending and they're picking the eyes from the corpses of crypto at these low levels. Now, black swans are good in many ways because they offer opportunity for those who've been, who've got cash sitting in their pockets waiting to buy in, which is why I've been buying all the way down anyway. Last order was filled yesterday, but now I'm feeling kind of nervous about holding any USDT. I have to release USDT the closer we get to my buy orders out of my pounds, so I have to buy USDT from pounds, getting ready for my next buy order. And now I feel like that's probably not the greatest situation to do anyway, just in case Tether just evaporates. The pound will remain the same, but in fact, I'll show you something. It's not anything that you won't have seen, I imagine. But this is your USDT pound on Binance just today. There we go, Wick Central. So obviously USDT has been a better place to have to be in because the dollar is stronger. So if you're going to sell to a fiat currency, the dollar is probably your best option. But with the looming threat of these stable coins and regulation penetrating the market to a large extent, who the hell knows what's going to happen to Tether. USDC is, from what I understand, a good option because it's 1-for-1 backed. From what I understand, I could be wrong. And BUSD, from what I read once upon a time, is actually the safer bet. But for me, I always go into a fiat currency. So let me pose a hypothetical for you before we go any further and talk about altcoins. If you had sold the top, because let's just say in a hypothetical you did sell the peak, right? What would you be feeling as you come down right now? Would you be thinking, oh God, this is horrendous, or would you be thinking, holy crap, man, I need to be buying this back. I've got to get in. And where would you be getting in? Well, no one knows where the bottom is. There's a good chance that if we do bottom, there'll be plenty of time to buy it, like around here. And even around here and here, really. We were still static for a while before we went up. There's plenty of time usually to buy the bottom. But if you're like me, you incrementally want to stack it up, then you buy on the way down. And when you get these lows like this, you think, well, this is pretty good. Let me show you something else on the volume profile here. So if we go down here, we were talking on the live stream about how I wasn't particularly convinced that any lows have really been forged, although that supports do count for something. Now we've got black swans pecking at us. They can cause some serious reds. This is big, but it's not massive. It's bigger than these in the past, but so is the market cap, so we would expect to see bigger as the market cap is bigger. So this is your November to December dump, where it lost 50% in the space of like about a week, basically. Big red there. This is your peak of the bull run that took place when the bull market began, 2019. Big dump, big crash. And consolidation ensued. This is your coronavirus March crash. Big dump. And this is your May crash that was crypto specific, where the market cap of all crypto lost half its market cap, so 50% down in a 2-week period. So what we're looking at now is obviously quite big. Crypto never really recovered to its market cap size over here, so we're not looking for a sizable move like this, but we are looking for something probably a little bit bigger, maybe up to these levels around here. So I don't think that this black swan has yet really fully kicked in. I think that it probably will continue, but if we think about what we're looking at as well, we are looking at 7 red candles on a weekly in a row. That's quite a lot, right? Without any kind of sizable bounce. I think the next bounce is actually going to be quite big, and I would expect it to actually come up to either a 10 exponential or this descending trend line over here, which, even if we measure that from where we are right now, that is a 41% move. If we were to do it this week or next week or the week after, 30 to 40% move for Bitcoin. And obviously altcoins will bounce through association. You'll probably see some serious bouncing going on with altcoins, although this isn't really an altcoin favorable situation. Again, something I've been talking about on the live streams as well. These Patreon streams I do, they serve a purpose, but for the most part, I suppose in hindsight, they've served a good purpose, because all I've really been saying is stay away from altcoins, really. I've been saying it for weeks. I say there's not a favourable situation for altcoins. Stay away, stay away, stay away. And lo and behold, as we come down for Bitcoin, altcoins get absolutely crushed. Really, really destroyed. It's okay to have little gambles on them here and there, but generally speaking, they've been absolutely annihilated. And like I say, so I suppose the live streams have helped. for those who are members, they've helped. Even though it's a broken record, we look at all kinds of charts, including stocks, but for the most part, we look at an altcoin and go, yeah, it's, generally, no, and I suppose the streams have been pretty boring, but the message has been reiterated, and this is one of the main reasons why your Bitcoin dominance being down at this level, with a threatening, a very realistic possibility of breaking out. We're still not broken out yet. We're still in the depths of, right in the center of this. I would call it, for want of a better word, an accumulation zone for altcoin to Bitcoin dominance, right? And we can't really think about alternating out of a Bitcoin position into altcoins, not seriously anyway, until we reach a major level of significance. This being one of them, but arguably I would expect this to break, and I'd be looking for this intermediate tier, 52 to maybe 57 to 58, really. So all of this, is going to play into a long-term strategy, and the strategy begins with owning Bitcoin. For me, this is obviously my strategy. My strategy, as you all know, is all about Bitcoin to altcoin pairs. So obviously, no one buys the bottom, no one sells the top. But I got close to the bottom. I was about 25% away from the low. I was about 25% away from the top. But throughout this whole process, it's just been about stacking sats with the use of Bitcoin versus altcoins, Bitcoin versus altcoins. And this is the continuation of that strategy. And in order to continue the strategy, you have to buy Bitcoin as it goes down, which is what I've been doing. I got 40,600, 35,000 I bought, 31,350 the other day, and just today 27,350. All of this is basically just stacking up my Bitcoin for anticipation for whenever the low takes place and the next decent rotation happens again, and then the party continues. It's all part of a giant continuous strategy that goes on and on and on and on forever, whether you're buying or selling or even cashing out. It's all part of the same giant strategy. And so the strategy remains. And so, my buy order again filled last night. There could easily be another buy order filled at 24,000. But the difference this time is that I'm hesitant to cash out some of my my beloved pounds into Tether this time, because Tether's looking a bit weird. Until I understand why that's happened, I'm not going to have and sit around with Tether on the side. I'm going to stick in my pound position, maybe have an alert set at that 24,000, and maybe I'll have to do a market buy with my pounds around that level. So we'll see what happens. I don't really understand the size of and the reason for this Tether wick, but it's not a good look. So that's your black swan and your, I suppose, fundamental reasons for it to go down, but also the concept of the strategy that remains intact. This is your Bitcoin to US dollar, so actually better than a Tether pair at the moment, which is even more volatile. And this is on the log scale. We've looked at this before, and now we actually have come down to that level. So this is continuous over a period of about 10 years, and now we're back down at that major support level. So this does, on a chart basis, suggest that there's a very realistic possibility of a bottom forming around here. Now, this is a black swan, wicked right down, and that was a big wick down, let's face it. Just for the wick size alone is a 28% move. But it was bought straight back up, and we came back to sit on this trend line, the trend line that's been in existence for since 2013, so about a 9-year history. We're there at the moment. This doesn't mean that we can't come down lower, but it's a definitely good area to consider larger buys. For obvious reasons. This is, like I say, we are looking down the barrel of a black swan's shotgun at the moment, and there is a very realistic possibility of another massive wick down. Like I say, the last one, due to a black swan, brought us down below this trend line, to the tune of 30% more or less, and that could happen once again. But generally speaking, if you think about a fair price for what it is and where it is, this is the place. So if we think about the CPI report next month proving that inflation has peaked, then also that'll add confidence into the markets. So we're not looking to buy the absolute low, and we're never looking to sell the absolute top. We're looking for price action in between, and I think what we're looking at now is significant areas of potential bottoming around this zone. This is your 200 simple, this is your 200 exponential, and this is right in the middle where my buy order would be, roughly around 24,000. And we're also looking at the volume profile, sticking a nice big erect candle up there. It's it's getting closer to the, well, to the very realistic possible, first of all, of a really decent bounce to start with, and second to that, a potential irrational low being formed. But look, let's put it out there, the odds are against everything at the moment until we get the CPI report and confidence resumes into all markets. This is going to be, a problem for Bitcoin. And altcoins, obviously, like I've been saying this whole time, a bit of a no-go zone, unless, of course, you're in it for the technology or you're just in it for the long run, which, like I say, there are going to be altcoins that recover significantly from these lows specifically, never mind where they end up going to before that. So simple and end of the day analogy here is that, look, my trading strategy remains the same: buy on the way down, and then continue with the rotation from Bitcoin to altcoin, altcoin to Bitcoin. There is no real favorable scenario for futures, I would say, at this very moment in time. It's just too risky, too dodgy. But spot trading is pretty simple stuff, and for me, buying on the way down and then wait for the situation to resolve itself and then continue with the game. The game being flipping Bitcoins into altcoins and back into Bitcoin and stacking the sats. I am stacking sats on the way down by default, but I would like to continue with the game that I play, which is stacking them through altcoins. But there is no real sign that that's going to happen. As I said, with the Bitcoin dominance chart looking this way, it's good because it means that finally we are looking to hopefully break out and move up to these major levels where the big gains can take place with altcoins. But for the moment, this is an exclusively Bitcoin area, really. It's the opposite of an alt season. Alt seasons take place probably about once a year, significant ones that would be. You had a really decent rotation event take place here in 2019 into 20, a really good one here in 2021, and there's been little ones in between. We're going to have to wait for another one of those, I'm afraid, to really make some serious cash. But again, this is how we do it. This is what it's all about. This is almost square one, which is a great place to be, because square one leads to square two, which somewhere down the line leads to lots and lots and lots and lots of cash. So like I say, hypothetically, if you had sold the top, how would you feel right now? You'd probably feel quite excited about, buying it back and beginning the game again. It is a good game to play, trust me. It is a good game to play. But I appreciate if you're down, it's not going to feel very good right now. But everyone goes down, there's always losing trades. Look, I've made some losing trades recently, ICP being the biggest losing trade I've ever made, to be honest with you. But the idea is you make generally more winning trades than you do losing trades, and that's how I can happily sit here at 10 in the morning in my pajamas and well, I'm not in my pajamas. I've already done the school run, by the way. But in theory, I could put my pajamas on now, and this is how I'm able to do it. You make more winning trades than you do losing trades, and that is that's when you become a trader, effectively. Right, so I'm going to leave with you there, guys. Hopefully, you're not in too much bad shape, and you can see it through my lens, which is that the game continues. It's just a game, and it's a very lucrative game, and we're coming back down to square one, which is the best place for it to be if you want to start the game. Right. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.